There's nothing going on in the world of video games, other than the eShop shutting down, but we already talked about that when they announced it. Instead, we're sharing more of our favorite video game songs. Welcome to the Switch Flicks Podcast, episode 128, recorded on March 21st, 2023. My name is Dakota, and today I'm joined by Nathan.
Hello.
And Tyler.
Hello.
Now back, 30 some odd episodes ago, almost exactly 30 episodes ago, we did with me, Tyler, and Kaiser. And because there's nothing going on, we decided to do it again.
Yeah.
Besides the eShop dying.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we've already done the funeral service for that.
Yeah, pretty much. 3 times over.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking of 3, we've all collected 3 video game songs.
Oh, wow, you did it. You snuck
Great
it in there.
a great way
That's so bad.
great way to introduce our list. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I think I get the idea.
Classic song.
It is a massive classic.
Mhm.
That was, of course, the main theme for Shovel Knight, my all-time favorite indie game, and nothing has come close to beating it in forever.
Really?
Oh.
I knew it was your favorite. I did not know nothing has come close.
Yeah.
I mean, fair
S-tier
enough. It's a good
review.
game. I think I've only beaten the main story, though. I don't think I've touched any of the DLC, even though I do own.
I rarely go back on games and rebeat them. And this one I've beaten 3 times, so
Oh my gosh.
Fair enough.
it's
That
to the
is
point where I
insane.
had to open when you have to get all your stuff back for you have to re-download your stuff from the eShop because the 3DS and
yeah.
Wii U stuff are shutting down. So I had to open up my 3DS and update the game so I have everything, just in case I ever want to go back and play it on the 3DS.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. Do you have the Shovel Knight amiibo?
I do. I have the
Oh.
regular one. I have the 3 other knights, and I also have the gold one. Not that the gold one was hard to find. That one was very easy.
Still, that's Shovel Knight.
Mhm.
It's one of the rare chances that they made a third-party amiibo.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
But back to the theme. The theme is just iconic, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they somehow use all of the same meaty parts of an NES sounding song, but it has so much more layers than what
Yeah.
that generation had.
It's like when you see people saying "Oh, I restarted Mario from the first Mario game," and it's super. It's the same color palette, but so much more technical skill put into it. And you're like, yeah, because you have a sprite to work on. It's so cool how they're able to not only get the classic NES sound, but also still make it a very noticeably medieval.
Yeah.
Yes, that is definitely something that I've noticed with this, the way that this theme moves. It kind of gives off that adventurous vibe to it, but it also mixes in the classic NES style themes that you'd find in a lot of the 2D action, maybe beat 'em up games. It's something like that where they have a really fast-paced intro, or maybe just even fast-paced gameplay themes.
Yeah. I really want to hear this song orchestrated.
There probably
Oh,
is
Like,
one
yeah,
out there.
fair enough.
so epic.
There probably is one
wonder-
out there.
Yeah, there probably is one out there. It's true. I wonder, if you put this next to a Ghouls and Goblins, or is it Ghouls and Ghosts?
Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghosts and Goblins. Like, how similar are they? Because I have to imagine Ghosts and Goblins has like a similar medieval feeling, and then it actually came out on the NES. Would it be like?
Probably.
Well, I guess during the gameplay, sure. Definitely
Yeah.
not the
not
level
the-
select.
I just had to look up who the composer was, and Jake Kaufman. He
Jake
also has
Kaufman.
worked with Yacht Club with the DLCs and Shovel Knight Dig and Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeons. So
That
he's
name sounds
basically
familiar.
the Shovel Knight guy. It does
Jake
sound
Kaufman?
familiar, but it looks like he's just done like revivals. Like he's done Shantae, all the modern Shantaes.
Shantae, that's impressive.
Well, I think next up on our list is music from Tyler.
Yeah, and just a little bit of a heads up. This one is more of a nostalgia pick than like a song I actively enjoy.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Yeah.
That was like
What was that?
Hey, that is the leader Jaern theme from the Pokemon fan game Pokemon Insurgence.
That
There
was
was
like
a
out of pocket.
yeah. I do have to commend the composer though, for
Yeah,
making it sound very
I-
Nintendo.
I did find it. The composer is. I found his Reddit profile. It's user msinger186. And
186.
yeah, it's interesting. I know when I was quite a bit younger, I loved Pokemon Insurgence quite a lot. It was like I loved the fan game. I loved everything about it. And this song in particular, I actively listened to a lot. And going back to it, for this video, I hadn't listened to it in a long time, and I was like, okay, this is probably still good, right? And then I opened it up, and I'm like, oh, look, it's not bad, but it's better in my head. If anything, I always thought it was a very hilarious song because it mixes like a trap beat with choir singing, but in Game Boy Advance Pokemon style. Very weird thing.
Yeah, the trap beat kind of threw me off.
Yeah, that was
I know.
that was the most random thing ever.
I think it's so funny that the beat drop is it makes me laugh I was laughing through the whole thing.
But it's a good theme. It genuinely
it's not that bad.
like for Pokemon standards, it actually sounds really good.
Yeah, for like a Pokemon fan game, it's not like for Pokemon standards, I would be a little lower, I think. But like Pokemon fan game, I think it's pretty good. All things considered, it was like made. When did Pokemon Insurgence come out? Okay. The first release was 2014.
Okay.
So yeah, it's relatively old. However, the context in the game is very funny. Spoilers, I guess, for those who want to play Pokemon Insurgence. It comes at the end of like the game's kind of split up into sections. In the first main section, where I think the first demo ends with this fight. And because it's an edgy Pokemon ROM hack, by the way, you listen to this battle theme after fighting, or right before fighting a Mega Rayquaza who is owned by the leader Jaern, who just in front of you killed the
Excuse me?
previous gym leader.
Killed?
Yes, he I think he uses like what Pokemon is it? I think he like disintegrates him with some flying type Pokemon.
Oh my gosh.
And then goes onto the roof and he's like, I'm all powerful, you can't beat me because I have Mega Rayquaza. And then you
Jeez.
beat him and he gets upset because it's like that's just how it goes. But insane video game. And I just wanted to share a little bit of my interesting music taste from like 2016, 2017.
Part of that, like a bunch of the mix of this song, kind of. I mentioned earlier how it sounded a lot like Nintendo, and it sounds exactly like the sound font that they would use for the GameCube Wii era games before they started orchestrating stuff,
That makes sense.
mixed in with a style of a bit of, I don't want to say Splatoon style because this came before Splatoon, but surprisingly enough, it does have that same type of charm at certain points of the song.
Like honestly, I think the beginning is really rough, where it's just like 4 notes on a really like kind of gross sound font.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it gets like it's not a bad song after that point. And I feel like given like a nice remaster, this actually would be a pretty cool boss theme. But as it is, it's like it's okay, it's fine.
Yeah, still primitive. Could
But yeah.
use a real orchestration or at least more expensive software.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like put some headphones in and then bob my head to this song like I did when I was roughly how old would I have
12.
been? Probably older than that. Like
Early teens.
14, 15.
Oh my gosh. So we're gonna move on to the next theme here. It might take a while though, because I know. So that was the theme for the Metroid 2 remake, Metroid Samus Returns. And you notice how there was this huge contrast like in that middle portion of the song?
Yeah, almost where they opened it up to space.
Yeah. So that's because the beginning part, as you know, or as you may recognize, that's like the series theme. That was not actually in the original Game Boy version. So what the
Okay.
song really represents is kind of like a true return to the Metroid franchise, all while staying faithful to the original game.
Oh, that is cool. That's a fun way to do that.
Like even the title itself is kind of like, instead of saying Return of Samus HD or something like that, they say Samus Returns because fans are finally seeing Samus return from 2 mediocre Metroid games.
Fair enough. What was the distance between the last Metroid game and then Samus Return? That must have been hefty.
Like a year or 2?
Only a year or 2? Wait, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong game.
Let me double check this. I think it was Federation Force that was the latest one before.
Yeah. I think the whole time I was listening to that opening, for some reason, like the wow, wow. I was just thinking of like, I don't know, a lighthouse in my head hitting, like spinning really fast, and then when the light hits me, the wow. I don't know why I had that image in my head, but
I mean, it does come in a very like how do you say it? Like a very linear type of approach there. We're just kind of
Yeah, it's also undoubtedly sci-fi.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
very
Federation
very
Force
sci-fi.
was only a year before Samus. I
Yeah.
thought Federation Force was way before that.
Nah,
Must be
Federation
thinking of something
Force was
weird.
2016.
Dang, that year was like super long.
Yeah, it went from 2010 to 2016, and people were still pretty mad about Other M. They see Federation Force and they get. Let's just say it didn't end so well.
What is Federation Force? Because my entire life I thought Federation Force was Metroid Prime Hunt.
It's a
No, it's
multiplayer co-op game.
multiplayer co-op Metroid Prime game that's where you don't play as Samus, with a art style that doesn't really feel appropriate for Metroid, and gameplay that isn't really overly impressive.
You could
I take it that you're
also
not a big fan of the Federation.
I've seen some bad things about it.
Huh.
is
So-
anybody a fan?
I don't know.
Comment down below.
Comment down below.
If you're the one of the 6 Federation Force, you're a dying species.
Now, I do have to say, part of the reason why I chose the Samus Returns theme might be because I recently played the game and finished it. But I feel like just having this huge contrast, and then like having finally having like an orchestrated theme again for the Metroid theme kind of gives us a more of a legendary feel, and it's not like what you'd hear in Super Smash Bros. That was kind of more of synthesized electric type of music. This is orchestral, grand music, like dramatic music mixed in with the sci-fi elements to make it feel kind of like lonely, but also peaceful in a way.
Lonely is a good word. That's kind of like a lot of space themes have like sci-fi big space things have like a very similar feeling of being like alone, but I think Metroid really knocks it out of the park in the way that it just feels like desolate.
Yeah, you
Even
start
like
off
the cool famous themes, like the one theme that shows up in the Subspace Emissary when you're like in those levels. It's like an interesting song to listen to, and like it's a good song, but it's also like it feels, dare I say, alien. It doesn't feel like of here, and it's very cool.
Let's liven up the mood a bit from depression to the opposite of depression with some music from Super Paper Mario.
If only it had the intro to the thing. That'd be crazy.
I will stop it before the bridge. But
I
know that theme too well.
Yeah, this theme is also iconic.
I don't think I've ever heard that before. I'm going to be completely honest.
Really?
No.
Have you played Super Paper Mario?
No.
Oh,
that's probably why.
That's probably why.
That's probably why. Probably should. I played Mario RPG. It's kind of close.
Yeah, I think a few episodes ago we were talking about our favorite Mario games and whatnot, and Super Paper Mario came up, and I just wanted to bring up this theme again because it's just that good.
We were gushing over this.
Yeah. Something about like the bells of the boom, 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 and then they go back to the almost the original Super Mario theme, but not really.
Yeah, it's like a fun little twist. A little like somehow you made the Mario theme more bouncy.
Yeah, and I think it's a play off of the world theme, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I guess you could say, Tyler, they made the Mario theme more super.
Laugh
That
track
is what I
ensues.
was trying to say. Yes, thank you for helping me with that. That was what I was going for.
But genuinely, yeah, it kind of does feel that way. They brought up the hype level from like 1 to 10 just with this one theme. Because previous Paper Mario themes were kind of more like goofy, funky, pleasant, nothing like overly exciting and hyped as this song.
Kind of like
Yeah.
Yoshi music.
In a different vein, but
Maybe.
yes. It's unfortunate that no other Paper Mario game since has had that good of music.
Exactly.
I think Origami King has some good music, but nothing memorable.
Not in the style of this, I can definitely say.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more
I only got halfway through that game. That game was boring.
Yeah. Origami
Wow.
King is pretty much just another one of those dramatic orchestral soundtracks that
I
are
do keep
underrated.
forgetting that one came out. Like in my head, I was
Yeah,
like,
it's
what's the like in my head? The most recent Paper Mario is Color Splash.
Oof.
when the game on the more forgotten console is more memorable than the game on the more popular console.
Yeah, because people were always like ragging on Color Splash, and then
Oh my gosh.
Origami King comes out, and no one talked about it ever.
It's an
Yeah,
incredibly
even I
short
forgot
game.
Color Splash existed. I thought Sticker Star was the most recent.
Okay, yeah, I guess maybe everyone has their own most recent Super Paper Mario game, or
Oh, I'm
sorry,
sorry.
Paper Mario game.
There's that crossover one in between though, the Paper Jam.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's the
Mario-
one which it was Mario and
Doesn't-
Luigi, right?
Doesn't count.
I guess
Fans
it
are-
kind of does
Counts
count.
50%, literally.
Let's say
maybe
25.
33%.
Yeah,
how much-
33%. Intelligent Systems didn't touch that game at all.
No, that's wonderful. I think that's a really good way to open up to a game that I would have to imagine is light and bubbly.
Oh well,
To a point.
to a certain extent.
So it's an
Um,
ironic to a degree.
Yeah.
Okay.
It kind of you'll see. I won't get into it too much.
Tyler, what was your second one?
Oh, here we go. Second one is another game I haven't played in a little bit, but I have to hope this song holds up better. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's Death Road to Canada, a fan favorite game of mine. Wait, fan favorite? That's not a favorite game of mine. For those who don't know, it's a roguelike in which you start in the US and almost Oregon Trail-esque. You have to make your way all the way down to Canada because Canada is safe from all the zombies. And there's action segments, but a lot of the game plays like the Oregon Trail. And I really like the music. It's composed by one Joey Grady, and the guitar and bass is performed by Adam Nielsen. And I just gotta say, big Death Road to Canada fan.
I have also played this game. I think a few years ago I bought it on the Switch on a sale. I really like roguelikes. I thought this was alright. I'm not a huge fan of Oregon Trail type games, so I thought it was okay. I think just the first run is usually the hardest. And then
Very
going
true.
through it again, it's a little bit repetitive, but I think it's still a good game overall.
I think the game really works when you're playing with multiple people As soon as you
Yeah.
get a second player in, it becomes extra chaotic, and it's just so good. This song in particular plays in a haunted mansion, I believe, that you can find randomly with like maybe vampires. I don't quite remember. And I think there's like a sacrificial coffin or something that gives you some boost. Very strange. But I remember getting to this, and there's like a lot of zombies, so it's kind of hard to stop. But I finally got to a room that I could stop, and I just sat there. I like the little funky, almost like softness it has at the beginning. It's it's lovely.
It's really like somber, and it kind of captures that level of say desperation or dread towards
I
getting
guess
towards the end goal.
Yeah, it's a little bit different from what I remember because I remember the music being pretty chaotic most of the time.
it's
So this is a
true.
weird differential.
Yeah, I guess I probably should have picked a more common song so you can kind of get the vibe that the whole game normally has. But
Yeah, this one's good.
I like this one a lot because it just has it has a flow to it that the other songs don't have. And also, I'm just a sucker for those little trills that they have as the like right near the beginning. There's like little mini scales of notes going down with little trills, and I just love them so much. I try to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about with music. I don't, but I think that was all correct terminology. It reminds me a lot of Terraria. Terraria is a lot more upbeat and like has a lot. The music's probably closer to what like the classic, like the normal songs in this game are, and they're similar. I know the composer did Duck Game. If anyone's played that, but yeah, I just really like this game, and it reminds me that I kind of want to play Death Road to Canada again.
Oh, remember, folks in the US, if you're ever traveling to Canada, be sure to play this song. Moving on to this next song here. I'm not sure how many of you have watched the Zelda Month trailer from 2022, but this specific theme is very special to me, and it really hypes things up once you hear this. Okay, so the title of the theme is The Knight Who Seals the Darkness from Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Oh,
And for Zelda fans, this is obviously a remix of the Master Sword theme that you hear in most of the games, I think since A Link to the Past. And the reason why this one specifically holds a special place in my heart is because um, it's the only time in the franchise where we really get to see like Link appear as this super powerful hero that's ready to stand against the incoming threat. And it's even crazier with the fact that right after, or at least the next game release, or at least the next Breath of the Wild related game released, we see the Master Sword get destroyed. So this is almost like the complete opposite to that.
it's like very. I'm just honestly, it's a very epic. Sounds like it's most Zelda themes have like an air of gravitas. This one feels like it's almost it has that gravitas, but also is almost showing off a little.
Oh,
It's
it's
a little bit of arrogance, then, which I
well,
really like.
the context of this actually does kind of match that. So for those of you who haven't played this game, Link's traveling through the Lost Woods with his companions Zelda and the champions. They stumble across one of the main villains of the game, and the main villain almost kicks Link's ass to the point where Link and Zelda are close to dying, and then boom, the Master Sword accepts Link, and Link takes it, and then suddenly Link destroys this villain and the villain's minions with like little to no difficulty.
Ooh, yeah, I can. The song really fits that feeling of, yeah, that's just a good song.
Frankly, it gives me PTSD from editing that one trailer.
Mhm.
I've had to listen to this song for hours on repeat.
I do know the feeling.
So yeah, I basically memorized like the first minute and a half and like the last 30 seconds.
Yep. I don't think I have anything. I don't think I should be torturing you anymore with this song. I'll spare you your sanity again.
Any chance you know what the composer is off the top of your head?
No, because the composer. All I know is that the composer isn't the Breath of the Wild composer.
Mm.
So that's as far as I know. But they did a pretty good job with this, and I'd say this would be the best theme out of the entire game.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's one of the most hyped Zelda themes I've ever heard.
It seems the composers are Kumi Tanioka and Ryo Uritani.
Now, I think Dakota has the next one here.
I do. I will argue that it is equally as hype. Maybe not to you, Tyler, but
but
it is certainly equally as hype to me.
Probably to me too, actually.
Oh yeah. Many might know, and I'll just let it speak for itself. I'm gonna kind of repeat from there, but you get the idea.
That was amazing. That was
This might be a hot take, but peak Splatoon music.
I think this song might have been the one that made me a Splatoon fan. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. It's definitely what sold me on Octo expansion. I believe they used this for the reveal trailer as well.
Yes, they did. And that was before I understood Splatoon music.
Yeah. I am also an Off the Hook fan, and I think they are the best duo they've out of the idols. So
honestly,
this is
so when you say best duo, do you mean you like Shiver Fry and Big Man more, or out of all three? Is your
out
favorite?
of like all three groups,
idols.
there's Off the Hook, which is my favorite. Yeah,
fair enough.
I think it's so different from the rest of the Splatoon music. It's mostly like rock and J-pop, and they really lean into the J-pop. But this one, they somehow mix the grunge, like it's all grunge.
Yeah,
And it's somehow weaved so well through a a melody somehow. If you listen to it enough a few times, you'll be singing along with the grunge, which is so weird to think about.
It also feels very reminiscent of the 80s 90s era that it was inspired by.
Yeah. But they somehow throw in Marina's like modern J-pop singing.
Yeah,
it makes no sense at all.
Like, how the heck did they make this work?
Also, this is one of the only reasons I'm hyped for the side order DLC for Splatoon 3.
Oh, you think it's gonna return? You think the Steam's gonna return?
Or at least music. Because we already know that Off the Hook is gonna return in some form. Just give me more of this. I don't care if the gameplay is crap. Give me more good music.
Yes, please.
Fair enough. I don't really have a context for this song. Like, you
Well,
just gave the context, but I don't think it
okay.
means nearly as much to me as it means to you.
So the context behind this song, or at least during gameplay wise, is the character that you're playing, the Octoling character that you're playing, the one that you see on the thumbnail right now, actually. She was like trapped in this subway system with, I think, amnesia, and she has to go through all these trials, and finally she's at this point where she's about to make it out of it, and that's where this song comes out. And what makes it so special is that you're going through a bunch of platforming just as you did before, but it's like 10 times more frustrating.
Yeah, and every time you die, luckily the music does not restart, but you're listening to that for a solid 15 minutes straight. I'm not complaining in any second.
I've gone through that a couple times. It doesn't get that hard, but first time through, you'll be stuck hearing this for 15 to 30 minutes.
All right, my last song is a little interesting one. It is from a Wario game. However, might be the last song you're expecting to hear from a Wario, but I'll let the music speak for itself.
Hello there.
This is terrifying.
Wario, what are you doing? Oh my gosh.
So, that is in the tutorial to Wario Land 4 on a beach level. The song is called Palm Tree Paradise. And the singer is either, they don't say who the singer is, one of the two voice actresses in the game, either Junko Yoshitami or Ayumi Shimokawa. Ryoji Yoshitami is the sole composer for Wario Land 4, and just did like a lot of weird stuff with it. So you have like your typical Wario songs you'd expect, this, and then there's an entire sound room of experimental ambient music.
At least with context, it's a little more understandable now why this type of song was chosen.
Yeah, I think I can see how it's like a little creepy. I think it's just kind of like a nice, serene song. It's a little weird in Wario context, but there was a YouTube video I watched by the YouTuber Geno7. It's like about an hour long about Wario music, from this song specifically because it's so weird and wild. But this song is insane because it came out on the Game Boy Advance and it has lyrics in a song in the Game Boy Advance. And if you didn't know, MIDI track, the reason they exist is to save a little bit of space, and also they like play there's like chunks of music that play in order, so you don't like get repeating tracks, and like it doesn't sound weird, like it would if you just put an audio file in, and also the audio file will be way too big. But because of that, what they have to do, especially considering the music adapts to certain situations, to put the lyrics in, they had to cut them up to single syllable. Every single syllable is its own sound file that then has to play in succession. So the game, if the game like slows down at any point or speeds up, the song still sounds the same. It is an absurd amount of work to put lyric in a like platformer game, especially one like a Wario game, and they did it twice because they also did it for credit, where she comes back to sing like kind of like an obscure, like a song that doesn't really have any meaning, or it has meaning but it's very strange, and it's just, I'm just absolutely fascinated by its existence.
Yeah, and I guess in the Japanese language, it would be a lot easier to chop it up into phonetical sounding files.
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, because how the kanji all work.
Yeah, exactly. I have the lyrics here. They're weirdly wholesome.
I know, it's so weird for a Wario game. Who's going,
Yeah.
I love money.
I mean, when has a Wario soundtrack ever sounded normal?
I guess that's true.
Even the WarioWare games have like all sorts of different types of music.
Mm-hmm. But like normally you're expecting kind of like almost like dirty songs, and like they just kind of feel like messy and maybe grungy, but not really. He gets a lot of jazz in there. And actually, one last thing before Dakota finishes his thought: the hello right at the beginning is sampled in the game Pizza Tower, which takes heavy inspiration from Wario Land 4, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough time to go through the lyrics, but
Oh wow. I guess you can look it up yourself, or watch the hour-long YouTube video that probably touches on it at some point.
Probably. Now, we're on to our final song. And I chose this one specifically out of a special request made by a certain Kaiser. Let's hear it.
it's this song. This is a bop.
I just know this one from Smash Bros. Oh,
This song is a bop. This song is so good.
good song to end on. It might be my favorite song of all the ones we picked. It's either this or the Age of Calamity.
Well, coincidentally enough, it's titled The Grand Finale. From Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story.
I feel like I've heard this game 100 times throughout the game, and it's insane that it's called the grand finale.
Well, want to know what's even more insane about this? Bowser's Inside Story was the last Mario and Luigi game that Alpha Dream worked on before they went bankrupt. Because they worked on the 3DS version.
Yeah, they had to make a stupid like extension to it.
And so that was technically their grand finale.
Ah, that makes sense. For those curious, the composer is Yoko Shimomura. She nailed it, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time I hear this, the like the solo piano of the dun 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 dun. Oh my gosh, that slaps so hard.
It's so good. It's almost Giorno theme from JoJo. The song that like the song that everyone knows with the piano that goes crazy.
This is also another song that I want to hear orchestrated completely.
Oh, that one almost like this song's really big. It has to exist, right? So there has to be grand finale.
They did recompose it on the 3DS. It's not completely, like reorchestrated, but it's closer to a real.
Aaron Grubb, if you're listening to this, this is your checklist.
Yes, please, Aaron Grubb, please
sign
do this.
out a full orchestra.
Okay, so for those of you viewers who have not played Bowser's Inside Story, the context here is that Bowser with Mario and Luigi inside Bowser physically, the three are headed off to face off against Dark Bowser and a old villain named Fawful, who appeared in the very first Mario and Luigi game. And so this would be like an epic battle on the rooftop of Peach's castle.
And you can feel every second of it.
The stakes are high.
It's insane this is a Mario song.
Yeah.
I don't know where it would fit better. Well, I mean, not better, but like where I feel like it would fit, but it's not Mario.
It doesn't feel Mario, but it is Mario.
It's so good. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like JRPGs in a way. Like a final music for any JRPG could work.
It basically the style of the Mario and Luigi games are pretty much meant to, like, the music style of those games are pretty much meant to replicate like JRPG music.
I guess
it would be
technically is a JRPG. It's a Japanese RPG, but
it would be funny if the song was it'd feel more fitting if the song was playing over some like god angel that would destroy the whole world. But I think the fact that this is Mario and Luigi fighting Dark Bowser is so
yeah, like, and this is like not like some regular Mario villain we're facing off against. We're facing off against two of the most powerful Mario villains we've ever seen.
Thank you for joining us and discussing our favorite video game songs for a second time. We'd love it if you could follow us on Twitter and listen to future episodes on Spotify and iTunes. Join our community Discord server to continue today's discussion. And we'll see you next time on the Switch Clicks podcast.